Hi there, my name is Ben Goldberg, and welcome to the first episode of Disney Dads and Jordan. On today's episode, we're going to be covering D23 in all its excitement, with a focus more on the theme parks, specifically the domestic theme parks, not necessarily international. We will touch on a little bit of that, but let's get going with the show. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the show. My name is Ben Goldberg. I am the founder and creator of Disneyland Rumors and News on Facebook. We have about 35,000 members in that group. If you're a part of it, welcome to the show. If not, check it out. We'll post the link in the comments below. Introduce yourself, boys.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
All right. I'm Jeremy Tisser. I am a recovering film composer. You've heard my music on Disney's Hair Jitsu on Disney Plus. I got my start assisting composer, 6-time Emmy winner Mark Waters. My first Disney project was Get a Horse, and I got to work on a bunch of Timon and Pumbaa stuff. I've written some music for it that you can hear inside the hotels and the resorts, and just been a lifelong Disney fan with 2 kids of my own.
Cool. I'm Jordan Allender. I've had a pretty interesting history with Disney. I've worked on and off with a park magazine back in the day called Tomart's Disneyana. Did a lot of photography with them, did a lot of press events and stuff. And then some people, maybe not in this chat, will know me from a documentary called Lost Boy, the Bobby Driscoll story.
Hey, I know that.
A short doc all on a very famous Disney actor. And very proud of it and happy to be a part of this. Always been a lifelong Disney fan, and this should be really interesting.
All right. Well, now that we got the introductions out of the way, we're going to dive into the meat and potatoes of this, guys. I'm super excited. I don't know about you, but for the first time in a while, being a Disney theme park fan actually has some meaning and some hope, right? When we heard Josh DeMario speak at D23 a few weeks ago, he commented that this is no longer blue sky. And for those that aren't familiar with that term, that means that this is no longer a pie-in-the-sky dream. There are, what did he say? So there are what did he say?
It's moving.
Yeah, dirt's moving, what he said. I don't know where I was going with that, but dirt is moving is the important thing, which means that Imagineers are on the ground and this stuff is really happening. Everything they presented will be coming to a theme park in the near future, and we will touch on that too with a little asterisk, near future. What does that actually mean? Let's kick it off, though, with Disneyland, our favorite theme park. If you all don't know, we're from Los Angeles, California. Forgot to mention that as well. So we're going to focus on Disneyland right now. Go ahead, Jeremy, take us away.
So as you guys all know, we've been waiting for a long time on the big change, which is Splash Mountain is now Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They finally announced the date, opening November 15th. It's been open at Disney World for a little bit, and I know that there's some opinions going back and forth on the thoughts of the ride. And the whole area is being changed as well. From Critter Country, it's now Bayou Country. And
yes, it is.
There's some thoughts there, right? Let's get into that.
Did you know that Winnie the Pooh is from the Bayou? I didn't know that.
That's
that either. Yeah.
Well, you guys know they're doing an overlay for Cajun theming to Winnie the Pooh now?
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Let's backtrack a little bit. So digging into the food of Bayou Country. Hungry Bear has gone away. Now we have I believe it's called the Hungry Bear Jamboree, Barbecue Jamboree is what it's called. It's going to feature a return of barbecue food to the Disneyland Resort, which some of us have missed from its days in Big Thunder Ranch. Not dating myself, but dating myself. This is exciting. The menu looks really good. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but I'm very excited for the brisket sandwich with the pickled onions. Disney does do really good barbecue. I will give them that, especially for quick service stuff. I'm pretty impressed. Dare I say it's better than Texas barbecue? I just came from Texas and I was not super impressed. Ooh.
I'm going to fight you on that, my friend.
Yeah.
Fighting words. All right, whatever. It's all good. Talking about Tiana's ride specifically. We've all seen the videos. Disney even released a ride-through before the many people released their ride-throughs, right? Look, I think the things that we saw in the video will not be an issue when it comes to Disneyland. The ride track system is not identical. Florida's is a little bit bigger, actually. So when we're looking at pacing of a ride, I noticed what, for me personally, there's a lot of dead space in that ride in Florida. Do I think that's going to translate here? I don't. I think it's going to be a little bit quicker. And I also think that the more recent videos, if you were to watch the ride throughs, they seem to have gotten the pacing down a little bit more of the spacing of the boats. Look, do I think it's a home run attraction? No, I don't. Do I think it gives us that big zippity doodah moment? I hope it translates better in person. Do I think there's a lot of screens? I do. And that's an issue that I have with some of these newer rides is it's a lot of screens. But you know what? Look, the music is fun. The idea of bringing the Bayou to a New Orleans Square area makes sense to me almost. Now, a complaint I saw was that people are like, oh, now it's all Tiana. It's all the Bayou. And I think that some people need to realize that New Orleans Square also composes Pirates and Haunted Mansion. There's more than just the Bayou, but it does create a cohesive environment that's themed, in my opinion. Jordan, what do you think? I know you were a diehard Splash fan. What do you think?
I'm not going to get into that end because I can see both sides. I really can, 100%. But the one thing I will get into that I do think really does kill this attraction, and it's probably something that's not talked about enough, is having it to be canon. Because this takes place after the film, you're getting rid of two characters that people love, which is the Firefly guy, Ray, and you're getting rid of Dr. What's his name? Dr. Facilier. Yeah, so you're getting rid of their songs, you're getting rid of those characters, and there's never really been a need to keep things canon. I mean, nothing in Fantasyland, it's not like Snow White is a Snow White 2. You know, it doesn't really have a reason to be there. And I think this ride could have been taken up a lot of notches. I'm sure a lot of people did. It's one of its biggest problems is its lack of intensity, not just the dead space. I mean, if you're going up a 5-story drop, you don't want to have a woman telling you, look, you're going to grow in size. Weird.
Oh God, I've been waiting for this. All right. So you touched on like my biggest qualm with this. I think Terrence Blanchard's score is fantastic, right? I think the arrangement of the song is great. A little cheesy for me in terms of the lyrics of it. It's, you know, though I'm not going to get into that, but what I am going to say is there's such a missed opportunity when you go down the double drop instead of shrinking in size and having Tiana's giant face headbanging at you. Why did they not take that opportunity to say, oh no, you've made a wrong turn and now you're in Dr. Facilier's territory and you have to escape him by going up this treacherous path? I mean, that was the whole thing that made Splash Mountain for me was, you know, that song right there at the end. It was the anticipation, the da 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 as you're going up the hill, and then you crash down, and you get that payoff at the end, which is Zippity Doodah, a song that everyone knew from the film. I didn't grow up on the movie, so I've never seen Songs of the South. I loved the ride because I loved that song at the end, and I loved how everything in the ride built you up to the eventuality that once you came down the hill, you'd get to hear Zippity Doodah. I'm not saying that Tiana's doesn't do it because I obviously haven't been on it yet, but I think for me and from the people I've spoken to that have been on it, you're missing that eventuality, that inevitability. Clearly, we've all had a long time to think about a lot of these things, and we need an outlet to come out and share this. And I'd love to hear what everyone else's opinion in the comments is about this. But I know for me, I like more in-depth storytelling. And if we're going to compare something really quickly, what Universal's been doing with their rides and their theming and doubling down on story elements as opposed to making the next shiny new object, really like driving it home. I think that's what's been missing here, and we need that to come back.
I will say I disagree with the Universal storytelling. Like, I have no idea what's going on in a Harry Potter ride. No idea. It's just you're flying, you're going through scenes of the movies. That's not storytelling.
I mean, I don't know. Jimmy Fallon on Universal tells me what I'm doing all the time. I'm pretty happy with the tram. So
I want to say one positive thing about Tiana, which is we're not the demo, as we all know. And when Splash Mountain came out, we were kids, and we loved it because it's something new. It was something different for us. Your children, any children, this is going to be maybe their first real intro into this. And they may love that song. They may love everything about it. So I don't want to go too after it. And you know what? You're right. That song could build on us. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that that's a good point, Jordan. I think that a lot of people forget because we like to be so cynical these days, right? Walt himself said the park will always be changing. And I know when this ride was announced, there was a lot of feelings. A lot of people created Facebook groups, dying on that hill. Literally, it's what some of them are called. But I think it's important to remember that the park is always evolving, that changes is inevitable. It just is. So let's keep it moving. With that, Jordan, let's kick it to the next big news for Disneyland, which I know you're pretty excited for.
Yeah, yeah. So there has been a announcement that Abraham Lincoln Great Moments will not be full time anymore
Say
in the
what?
theater. He's been full time sometimes, sometimes not. There's some other things have gone in there, but they're bringing in a brand new show, Walt Disney: A Magical Life, next year with the first ever Walt Disney audio animatronic. I'm
How do we?
excited. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I feel ashamed for the family, and yet I also could feel like I don't know, like maybe it's a good thing.
I don't know.
So
I will tell you
I don't
this.
know.
I will tell you this. What scares me about this attraction is the fact that they did not get Walt's direct family's blessing. It's very weird to me that they got the nephew of was it
Roy, it's
Roy?
Roy
Roy,
Disney's
right?
son. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, why didn't the family give its blessing? What are the family's concerns here? That's the reality.
So from a business standpoint, I don't know what the contracts are, but technically, as far as I'm aware, and please, anyone can jump in and correct me on this, but the Walt Disney Company, wouldn't they have access to his likeness, and just getting their blessing would be just to be a nice thing to do, but I don't know that they technically need to.
No,
So
no, we're not thinking about need. We're
so
thinking how it looks. Like, do you feel great about this? I don't know.
But on the one hand, they should go to the family because it's the right thing to do. On the other hand, do they have to? Probably not. But there's a lot of they should do this, but they don't do that,
well,
and that kind of goes across.
let's play this out a little bit further. Here's where my mind goes. Okay, they said the reason they haven't done a Walt animatronic before is because the technology just simply wasn't there. Do I believe that 110%? I don't know.
Not at all. There's tons of precedents.
So here's what I think may happen with this attraction in particular. Then Jordan, you made a good point. Lincoln will be returning. They will be doing like at some point a hybrid version, is what I understand. It would be Walt one time and then Lincoln another time. So Lincoln's not going anywhere. It has a very important place in Disneyland history. The Imagineers know that. They're not getting rid of it. Just going to point that out. Here's where I'm going with this, though. Let's fast forward over to Avengers Campus really quickly, okay? Let's talk about the Incredible Hulk that debuted very briefly for a moment, okay?
Yep. Yeah.
Where my mind goes with this is what's to say now that at Disneyland or at any of the theme parks, right, that you're going to have a robotic Walt walking around. I don't know how I feel about that, good or bad, either way. To me, that could
That's
be
suspective, though. That's not.
Is it?
I don't think they're going to start doing humanoid audiomatronics walking around anytime soon. And if they do, they're not going to just throw you the owner the first time. They're going to put a Marvel character out there, see it fail, and never do it again.
I honestly don't know if I believe you on that 100%. I think that I personally think that this is a big test for them to see how much this is going to pull into the Opera House or whatever, the change of the name, I think. But let's face it, that attraction was a dying attraction. Our parents knew Abraham Lincoln. We went to Abraham Lincoln. Well,
our parents knew Abraham Lincoln.
Our parents knew the animatronic version of that show.
Tell your dad you said that, by the way.
Yeah, I'll tell all your dads. Whatever. Our dads are old, okay? Look. The point also is that when we're talking about the parks changing and the evolution of keeping people entertained, I think that the park goers used to be a heck of a lot more patriotic, and I think that the presidents were something that people wanted to see. I don't think that it's pulling in the kids. I don't think it's pulling in what they want. I think putting Walt in there and talking about a big, bright, beautiful tomorrow is a nice little button on a way of saying that the park will always be changing. It gives people a little bit of a sentimental feel. I think they're going to pull at our heartstrings. I am expecting a score from Michael Giacchino in here somewhere, the master of Pixar. In all honesty, I really do think they're going to make it a very emotional experience. Let's keep going with it. Let's keep going with the Disneyland 70th anniversary. I am pretty underwhelmed with this. I know that as it gets closer, there's going to be food announcements and merch announcements.
Merch.
But where are my parades? Where are my decorations on the castle? Where, as much as they're spending on the rides, right, Jeremy? That you're hitting on this, like the value that we get in the theme park. It becomes a money grab at a certain point, right? So when you're only doing merch and food, and you're not plussing entertainment, I think that's where I'm struggling with this. What do you guys think?
Just quick thing, 70 is not that big of a birthday. I mean, they didn't do that big for 60. They didn't do that big for 40.
Wait, yeah, they did. 60 was the diamond. That was a big one.
60 was a merch drop. There wasn't rides for it.
I still feel like there was a new show, like a fireworks show.
They do this on a 25-year thing. Their 25th was huge. I've seen pictures. And the 50th was huge. They did the whole gold thing.
50th was probably the best time. I mean, I think we were all in college at that point, now that I'm dating us. 50th was, maybe we're a little younger, actually. That was the best time to be at the park, though.
Yeah, we were I was 17. So
we were all like seniors, really.
I remember being in high school and watching Remember Dreams Come True, for example. I think that was the first fireworks show that I was like, oh my goodness, like they're doing immersive stuff all around me now. They're including the rides. Best fireworks show I've ever seen at Disneyland, hands down. Let's go to Star Wars, because this is a land that I really...
Let's go to another disaster.
This is a land that... Look, first of all, just for everyone watching, we're not negative. We're critical because we care, okay?
No, you can all go to Star Wars
We're critical because we care. Please put that on the Monsters, Inc. logo. We're critical because we care.
We're critical because we care. Because we're fans. That's the reality. Look, we're passionate because we love the theme park. We've grown up with it. We've gone together so many times throughout the years. We just care. Star Wars Land, to me, was a great idea. And it makes sense. I know how Jordan feels about Rise of the Resistance. I'm going to let him touch on that himself. To me, as my first time going on it, it's a great ride. It's an awesome, immersive experience, from the pre-show to getting... I mean, the pre-show is so long. To actually getting onto the ride vehicle itself, right? That's immersive. It's fun. Millennium Falcon, I could care less about. I'm really tired of screen-based things, like I said. On top of that, it sounds like they're getting rid of the entire canon for the land. In the year 2026, when the Mando film comes out, they're replacing the missions on Smuggler's Run to be with Grogu and Mando. They're tying in that IP. However, they don't exist technically in the canon of Star Wars Land. So, to me, I think that's the right move, actually. I think they should do this. I think they should bring back Leia. They should bring Luke. They should bring... These are the people. These are things people want to see. Honestly, if we're talking about Tomorrowland, maybe at that point, they really consider moving Star Tours over to the land somehow, freeing up attraction space in Tomorrowland. And then really giving Star Wars everything because it's all the same IP.
That's not gonna happen. But I totally agree with you. Going back to my point with Tiana, let's stop putting canon with the rides. The theme park should not be canon with film. Period. Yeah, I will say, judging on what we're talking about here, this is kind of what we're hoping though for this land. Break it from the canon, change some things up. Maybe this is the beginning of making that land a better version. I know there is still rumblings, even though it wasn't announced, that of putting a third or fourth attraction somewhere in there. So, I mean, the future, I think, is bright for Star Wars, as much as it's kind of lost its luster pretty quickly.
All right, so we're going to jump over to California Adventure now, because literally that is all the announcements for Disneyland that was made. That was it. That was it. Which, good or bad, I'm not sure, to be determined, right? So, going over to California Adventure, first up, we have Avatar. Go ahead, Jordan, take it away.
Yeah, sure. So I'm guessing this is probably a big part of Disney Forward, as a lot of you think, because where are they going to put this brand new expansive land? It's going to be probably a semi-continuation of the Avatar Land and Animal Kingdom. maybe they haven't announced exactly how many rides. We know that we are getting a water ride that is based off of at least the next 2 films, which is pretty exciting. I'm betting there's probably going to be a carryover of something else as well. Maybe the flying, what's the flying ride that they have in Florida?
Flight of Passage. Yeah.
Flight of Passage, something like that's probably coming there. But I think it's a cool thing. I mean, you can go either way. We can talk about what Ben said about making each park specific. Like maybe you should just go to Florida to see Avatar Land. But I think it's a really cool thing for this part of the world to get an Avatar Land. Let's enjoy it.
Am I the one person that doesn't care about Avatar? Like, sorry if I have to be, right? I thought that film was like visually stunning. I had I can't even finish the second one, and that's a me thing. Fine, I'll deal with it.
You don't like all the whale killing? Oh, sorry.
Jordan had a whole point that film was made to make the world better, and maybe I have to give it another chance.
Yeah, I mean that's really why the world unites around Avatar. It is the idea of humanity getting along. It really is. It's about that's clearly what this story is about. It's about taking villains and seeing the truths of this world and how Earth is precious, how nature is precious. And I think that's definitely a theme that they're going to try and carry on. And I think that's a good thing overall. With many people.
Speaking about the ride itself, though, what I'm hoping for personally is our version of Pirates of the Caribbean from Shanghai Disneyland in California. And by that, for people that aren't familiar with it, we'll put a link to a ride through of that so you can check it out too. It's super cool. They integrated a completely new ride system. We talk about screens and physical sets. They, in my opinion, perfected it actually. The boats there are able to swivel differently. They are able to back up. They're able to rotate. The screen immersion is awesome. The practical sets are awesome. Yeah. One of the coolest effects. So if that's what we're getting, I'm all on board. Sign me up. Take my money. If we're getting I don't know, man. I don't even know. In my head, I'm like, it's going to be Pirates.
There's a good chance it's going to be very screen-based, be very much like the new Peter Pan in Japan. It's going to be very heavy screen-based.
But Peter Pan in Japan is still practical sets with screens integrated. It still looks good. I think they're going to do a good job.
Congrats to that.
They're going to do a good job.
I'm glad they couldn't build a robot, so they made a movie.
Well, they're going to do a good job. The land's going to be stunning. I'm excited. I'm a lighting guy, so the thought of the land at night, switching from the day mode to the night mode is going to be stunning. It's going to give you a reason to not be in Cars Land at night, is what I keep thinking in my head. You're going to have the experience of watching Pandora. I didn't see second. Is it still Pandora, though, the world that they're on?
Yeah, it'd be Pandora.
So seeing the world of Pandora, light up, if you will, it's going to be a thing, just the same way it is to see Route 66 light up at night.
It'll be pretty, but I mean, like, people don't like the Navi River journey, and that's all it does is light up. This needs to have thrill, and I understand it's going to have some of the pirate elements, but I think if they don't capitalize a little more on having it maybe be a little more thrilling than that Pirates, it's going to be a little lackluster, but the potential's there.
The other thing I'm going to note on this, just to keep this conversation going, there is no opening date. Say what? So a lot of these announcements were made that are tentative. They are happening, but when? That's the big question. And also where? Jeremy and I are going back and forth on this because he really thinks that it's going to be near the Pixar Pier. I do not think that whatsoever. I think it's going to be...
Dirt's moving, Ben. Dirt's moving.
Dirt's moving for the next ride I'm going to bring up. But I'm telling you right now that in Pixar Pier, it would not make sense from a thematical standpoint to put
I'm just going to say straight up, it's 100% like Star Wars Land. Underground passage, under the road, to the what is it, the Simba parking lot. That's where it's going.
Okay, I like that.
I'll put that bet in right now.
I was thinking Hollywood Land's a thing of the past, but that's my 2 cents on that. Jeremy really thinks it's going in Pixar Pier.
So I was just there yesterday, and I see why you think the next ride is going over there, but we'll get into that. I don't think it's going to go in Hollywood Land. I think building out a whole new water feature and a completely new lagoon just for that is not enough room to do it there. It's not going to be able to. Maybe Coco's not going to go there either, and they've got some other plans for that part. But I I think we're probably going to lose Goofy Sky School, Corn
Yep.
Dog Castle, that whole corner right there. You're going to lose the some of the half of that food area over there. That whole back corner, I think, is going to be it. And yeah, I think the ride is probably going to go down. They'll probably take their lessons from the original Pirates of the Caribbean and go down and under, which is, that was how they were able to build it so big, was they had to go outside the original boundaries of Disneyland. That's why we have a second drop, because you had to go down and go under the train.
The great thing about California, you dig down, we don't hit water,
Yep.
unlike Florida.
Well, it's also what Haunted Mansion was too, right? You go take the elevator down, brings you underground to the showroom. Anyway, let's move on to the next ride because I'm more excited about this than I am about Avatar Land. California Adventure,
Avatar.
Coco is coming to California Adventure, and I think this is
Coco.
I think this is a smart move. I think it makes total sense. From a demographic standpoint, the Southern California region makes a lot of sense to me. I'm excited it's coming to our park and not Florida. I mean, they just announced a brand new show for Coco coming this year to California Adventure for Halloween time. I believe it's going to pick up. And I'm excited for it. I think that's going to go, personally, I think it's going to go right next to the Boardwalk Pizza place. I think there's room back there behind stage. I don't know how big this ride is going to be, but I think it's going to be a very classic Fantasyland style dark ride with modern animatronics. There's going to be some sense of danger, right? We're going to the world of the dead. Does that mean that Ernesto de la Cruz is going to do something? Who knows, right? I mean,
wait, isn't it water-based though? It's not a standard.
No, it's water-based. So again, like I don't know if it's going to be like a Fantasyland ride similar to like Small World style where it's very slow, right? I think there has to be some thrill here, like we were talking about. There has to be a sense of danger. I'm expecting a lot of cultural references in this ride. I'm expecting to be wowed. I love Coco. I think it's a great story. I think it's
going to be an awesome ride. I think there's so many colors and the animals and things they can play with. I think you're right in which side of the park it's going to go on, but I think it's going to go closer to the Pixar side, like near the swings and the slushies.
That's what I'm saying.
Inside Out.
I don't think it's
on the other. I don't know if there's enough room, guys.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying behind. I think that where there's a parade gate that ends right next to it's between. There's that parade gate right there between Emotional Whirlwind and Eatery right there. There's room back there. I mean, when you go on the Ferris wheel,
handouts for the Magic Keys.
I mean, I'm happy to start a petition to get rid of Toy Story Mania. I'm ready.
Jordan, get off! You're fired.
I mean, I don't know. To me,
you want Carpal Tunnel forever? No, thank you.
Look, give me Toy Story or give me Spider-Man. Don't give me both. It's the same ride with a different theme. Okay, moving on to Marvel. That is our next big thing. Avengers Infinity Defense. We've been talking about this ride going on 4 years. 4 years. Okay, it's finally happening. Who knows? Jordan, you mentioned the Tokyo Park or the about Peter Pan ride. This ride vehicle is pretty similar to that. It looks like a mix between Transformers, Universal, and that. There's some gripes about that. I'm not going to die on that anthill of the ride vehicle being whatever. I'm going to die on the anthill of what is the ride like? What is it doing? Is it the same ride each time? Because from my understanding, we're going to be able to jump through multiverses and go to different worlds. What does that mean? To me, that's kind of like Star Tours, right? We can maybe potentially have a different ride, a different outcome. Does Thanos win in some of these? Do we win in some of these? I'm going to guess that Thanos always loses just because that's how Disney does things. But I'm saying that it would be cool to go to Asgard and get in a really big fight. It'd be cool to go to Wakanda and maybe see someone lose. I think what Marvel does better than anyone out there, especially in the Disney world, is they're not scared to get rid of main characters. And I think that is a definite advantage at times. It creates a bigger emotional tug on our heartstrings. And I'm excited for this ride. I think visually it's going to be amazing. Technologically, it's going to be up there with the best of them. I'm hoping that they don't let us down. I'm hoping that it's big. Going back to where they're going to do it, there is space for it behind in the parking lot, the staff parking lot, the cast member parking. I'm excited for this one. Jordan, I'm going to let you talk about this other ride that was announced because this one to me, I'm like,
I mean, here's the thing. Disney this is the mechanical arm knuckle. They call it like a knuckle type of device basically. And It's the same ride vehicles as the Harry Potter. The ride's called, what is it?
Stark Flight Lab.
Stark Industries or something.
Stark Flight Lab.
Stark Flight Lab. So it's going to be the same system as Harry Potter. I know a lot of amusement parks around the world have tried using this system. There are versions of it where you can decrease and increase the intensity on a vehicle like this. So this could be a ride for all ages, which is pretty cool. You could have very different versions of it, going back to your idea of a different thing. I understand it's probably going to be a B tier ride.
Yeah, it's not. This is going to be a people eater. It's not going to be.
I'm going to tie this in again to more of our conversations. This one I think is a great idea, and here's why. If you take a look at the concept art, you'll see you've got the arms that come in and grab your seat and then lift you up and throw you in a test flight. And they do it right in front of the queue. So everyone gets to visually see it and go, holy crap, right? Yeah. So I think this is one of those where you're moving people through in something that at its core is just ridiculous and fun, which is what we need more of. I think we need less of the, ooh, wow, look at my technology, and more of the, well, let's just make something super fun. And they did that here, at least.
And let's fill some space with more rides in a land that has no rides.
You know, the word that you keep throwing around, Jimmy, I'm going to throw this out. The term I think you're trying to say is that the land lacks kinetic energy. And I think that's what you're trying to say, right? Like the visual astounding, right? So, like, let's use Pixar Pier as an example of this really quickly. Before Emotional Whirlwind went in there, they did their overlay for that. When you look at that ride, the gadgets whirl, the orbs light up, right? There's kinetic energy actually happening on there. That makes it fun, right? When you go into, let's say, Hollywoodland, that main strip of like just shops, there's nothing going on there, right? Just music. So just to compare, so people understand what we're talking about when Jeremy's saying the visual energy, the feeling of seeing things move. Here's my issue with this ride. Out of the three of us, it's no surprise that I am the biggest one. I'm fine being the big guy. I've always been a big guy. Jordan, you mentioned Harry Potter, right? I used to be able to get on that ride. COVID happened, put on some weight. I'm working on it. Knock on wood, lose some more. What I'm worried about, and I know that Disney's better at being a little bit more bigger friendly when it comes to their attractions. I'm hoping this isn't a universal situation where, because of the technology and safety, that because you have a bigger chest, if you will, you can't get on it. Now that it could be. And if it is, I understand safety first, 100%. They don't want liability. I'm just hoping that since Disney has always been more or less better at it, even with the Tron roller coaster in Florida, they have a bigger seat or two that you can get on for bigger guests. That's what I'm hoping here for. I'm hoping it's immersive. I'm hoping that we get to see Robert Downey Jr. You know, he's reprising his role, they said. I'm excited to see that. The other parks in Paris already have an Iron Man animatronic and ride. I'm excited to see that in this park. I think that Avengers Campus in general is a good example, now that they're adding these things, of a land that is being well executed. The recent addition of Deadpool and Wolverine, even though it's temporary, is genius. They took an R-rated character, brought into the theme park, created more moments for guests to interact with them. I think it's smart. I think the land's lacking rides. I think that once these two go in, it would be the button on top, the cherry on top, right? I think that we are seeing the end of Hollywoodland one way or another, though. I think that with Guardians on that cusp right there with the Hyperion, I think that I'm hoping the Hyperion's not gone. I can see that going away to make way for another attraction at some point. That's why I think Avatar can go back there. So actually, I think there's just a lot of land. Anyway, let's keep it flowing. We're going to focus on the other coast now. And I said we're going to focus on domestic mainly for this first episode. I know that this is a bittersweet one for Jeremy. So I'm going to let him take it away.
Okay, Monsters, Inc. Yes. It's not bittersweet for me, honestly. The only thing that's bittersweet about it is that it's not in California and that I have to spend a lot of money to get my family across the country to go ride it. But Monsters, Inc. is my favorite Pixar movie of all time.
Who did the music for it?
Randy Newman. Come on now. I love that movie. It's so much fun. When they first turned the ride at California Adventure into Monsters, Inc., the first time I got to go into the door scene was like the coolest thing ever. So now that you get to go on a roller coaster through all of that, hell yeah. I'm hearing that people are saying that they wish they could ride on a door, but I'm actually okay with not being on a door. I'm okay with having the scream canisters launching you Because if you go back to Monsters University, when he knocks it over and it goes flying around the whole room, there's a lot you can do with it still, and it can launch you off even faster. And for me, the effect is going to be being in a big space with the doors, floor to ceiling, all moving, and you're going through the warehouse, through the adventure.
Did you see the model at D23 that they laid out for this ride? Because it's pretty impressive. It's a massive building, massive show building. And you just said something that I didn't even think about. And you're right. In Monsters University, that canister does fly off. Have they, maybe you guys know, I don't recall, is this a launch style roller coaster? Do we know?
I don't know if they announced that.
They haven't said anything.
Because if it is, Jeremy, then your idea of being able to like go off, that's a great way to go. We also forgot to.
Josh, if you're watching this, for some reason, please take that into consideration.
The other cool thing that I like about this is Disney's first suspended roller coaster ever, bringing them into the thrill park category slightly. It's going to be a family coaster, so from my understanding. Why I think this is in Florida and why it's a suspended coaster goes back to Universal, though, 110%. I think that Universal is the coaster king out there. I think Velocicoaster, when that opened up, like blew everyone away. Disney needs to add more thrill rides. It's very apparent. When people ask me who, like families that haven't gone to Disneyland or California Adventure, they ask me what my take is. I tell them Disneyland's classic. You're going to Walt's Original Park. You want to go for an updated, more thrilling park, California Adventure is your park you go to. This is the same thing that's happening in Florida. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be, I hope the music's there. I hope that I'm curious what the storyline is. I hope that it's not canon to the movie. So
yeah, let's avoid even thinking about that.
Yeah, because
I have no comment really on this, and it's fine. Maybe it should have been done 20 years ago. So glad it's coming. Thanks.
Well, the nice thing is the construction begins in 2025 on that, which probably means that we will get it in 2026, early 2027 would be my guess, on our pacing. All right, next up, Animal Kingdom. I'm excited about this stuff. Let's go over the New Americas section of Animal Kingdom. We're going to say farewell to our beloved dinosaur attraction that people either loved or hated, and we're replacing that with an Indiana Jones attraction. Now, why does this make sense? Well, because it's the same ride. It's the same ride system. It's the same ride vehicle. It's not hard to do. What's cool to me is that they said that it's going to be an indie experience that no one else has. So in my head, I'm thinking, are they going to take elements of each park that has been successful and put that in this? And I hope they do. I hope that it's not based off one of the newer movies. As much as I love the Indiana Jones franchise as a whole, the films as they got, it's a little bit.
Here's my first thing I have to say on this is there's still maybe a good chance that this is just a layover. It's the same ride vehicle as dinosaurs, so you might not be looking at too much of a crazy thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is why this makes sense. This is why they said this is going here. It's not going to cost them a lot of money. The ride systems, I'm pretty sure the dinosaur track is the same as Indiana Jones in California. I think it's identical. So, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I just feel like I'm pretty positive it is. But I've been a little bit wrong.
I might have been on it when I was 11, but I remember it.
I think that it brings a more popular IP to a theme park in Animal Kingdom that is having issues with attendance, from my understanding, other than Pandora. There really isn't a draw to go there. I'm excited for this one. I'm also excited for the Encanto addition to this land. So let's go over. Before we get to that, I'm going to kind of give everyone an overview of how this land looks. Okay, so This is going to be a Central America style land, if you will. You're going to have India thrilling attraction on one side. You're going to go to the center of this town. It's going to have a beautiful carousel with hand-carved wooden figurines. They had one on display at D23. I believe it was the bird from Up, I'm pretty sure it was. Looked beautiful. It's going to be stunning. So you're going to have your thrilling ride. You're going to have your family style, can't go on all the rides in the center of the town with some eateries around it. Then you're going to have Encanto. And the way they described Encanto is that house is going to be animated. It's going to be alive. Now, I think this will be similar to the Coco attraction that we're getting in California Adventure. I expect it to be a similar ride system, and I expect it to be similar in terms of the pacing and storytelling. I don't know the true villain. This sounds bad. The true villain in Encanto is the mom, okay? Let's just call it what it is really quick. It's a lot of generational trauma there. So I don't know if there is a villain chance here. Other than you're going to have a musical journey through another water ride, right? That's what do you guys think?
Did they say it was going to be a water ride? Because
Yes.
if they
Yes.
did, oh yeah, because it starts in the room and it becomes yeah. I'm thinking it could very well be something more along the lines of like a Small World, like where we were talking about with the Coco ride. I think this
Yep.
one is a better opportunity for something a little slower, especially when right next door you're getting Indiana Jones. You're going through, the whole point is to see the house and to experience the house coming to life. That's what the goal of this one is. And now if I compare it to Tiana's Bayou, I don't think you need a villain necessarily in this. They created a house that's so magical that is the magic, right? Whereas Tiana has an incredible villain that completely should be in the ride. And, comment if you agree and don't at me if you don't. But seriously, I think Encanto, I think it's brilliant. I'm actually, I didn't know if I was going to be excited for this one or not. I think I love the movie. I love the songs. I wasn't excited for the movie until I saw it and then in theaters. And then I was blown away by it because I thought it was going to be kind of more of the same stuff that's been coming out of Disney, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think they have a real opportunity to do something amazing with technology while have some great storytelling and immerse you in it. It's the best of everything.
So I just remembered something really quickly about this ride that I should have mentioned prior, and I love this movie too. This was the first Disney movie that my son got into at an early age. He knew all the songs. He was able to sit and watch it. The visual, he loved it. If I recall correctly, actually, the story's taking place on Antonio's day that he gets his gift, which ties into Animal Kingdom. Yep. So I actually think this could be a little bit more thrilling than we realize, that I just thought of. This could be like going through the rainforest, and it could be encountering animals. And look, animals can be friendly or not friendly. You could have a couple close calls. Who knows? I think there might be a little bit of fun, like the Jungle Cruise, maybe some of that humor in here. I think it's going to be a home run. I think it's going to give new life to that part of the park. And I think that this is going to give people a real reason to go to Animal Kingdom. Jordan, you want to add anything?
Not too much to it. Same sentiment as most of you guys, both you guys. I really don't have much to say on it.
Can I add a little bit to it as well again?
I feel like you're going to do no matter what. You're just going to
you know what? It's fine. I just had a thought about this. The idea when the magic is dying and the house starts to crack, I wonder if they're going to be incorporating that into the ride. So as you're going through it and you end up in the walls somewhere and the magic is dying and everything like that could be the villain of the story of the ride, right? Where everything is happening and you have to come out on the other side and you end up he gets his door, he gets his room, and it has that nice ending. But that would give them a really great chance to wow us with some awesome effects like only Imagineering can do.
I agree with that. Here's the other exciting news about this is that construction starts this fall. So we're talking maybe in a month or two, and it's going to be opening in 2027. So that was the first real announcement of a land or attraction with a definitive opening date. So I'm excited to see the progress on this. I'm excited to see what happens there, and we're going to keep moving along. Jordan, go ahead and take us to the next point.
Yes, let's talk about this one. The Goth Disney Dream, the Villain Land. If you're a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, don't worry, it won't be in there, but all the other Disney villains will. You will get Maleficent. You'll get Cruella de Vil. You'll probably get tons more Ursula. What else you'll get, we do not know. But hey, we're getting a Villain Land in the Magic Kingdom.
So let's talk about this. The whole reason, in my opinion, this is happening is because Epic Universe went full force and went ahead and announced their Monsters Land. They took a note that Disney didn't want to take. They listened to their fan base, which is honestly, it's a refreshing thing when that happens. And they said, you know what, we're going to give the fans what they want. So in that land at Epic Universe, you're getting a first of its kind, all the monsters unleashed at once attraction. You're getting a werewolf attraction. You're getting a steak restaurant that's being served to you by vampires. Steaks on steaks. I think that we're going to get the kiddie version of that land with Disney. I don't think it's going to be as scary. I do think that this is an opportunity for them to hopefully have a evolving entertainment of some sort with the new villains coming out constantly. But if we
can get one dark ride with all of the villains, That's kind of cool.
As long as it's not going to be a totally screen based ride, I'm all for that. I really hope that it's practical sets with some awesome animatronics. Again, if you're building this in Florida, you have to compete with Epic Universe. I'm going to keep saying that. And from what Epic was saying is that that's going to be a lot of animatronic figurines with practical sets. They've been doing it. They've been doing it better than Disney for a while, in my opinion.
These things, I'm sorry. I understand their thrill rides are great, but they are the king of screen-based rides. Like, let's not confuse that.
What, Disney?
They have way more screen-based rides than Disney.
Are you saying Scream or Screen? Sorry.
Screen.
Oh,
Screen.
Well, yeah. Well,
so,
anyway.
I mean, like that. Just because you're saying this about the monster ride that they're having there, honestly, the pictures they've shown make it look just like Green Gots, and that is basically a screen ride through and through. So I don't think they need to worry about competing as much as you usually are worried about. But yes, it is 100% a direct reference.
Look, I've said this for a long time. Competition makes people better. It makes businesses better. Having good competition that close in proximity to them, it's going to make them push each other a little bit harder, and I'm excited for that. I have no idea what's going to come to this land. I'll be honest. I honestly have. We're going to get some type of villain castle. I know that. We're going to get. I think it will be Maleficent. Are we going to get?
Yeah, again, Maleficent doesn't count.
Are we going to get a fire-breathing dragon?
Not anymore.
What about this? What about this? Epic Universe is doing drone dragons. Are we going to get a Maleficent drone? Are we going to get any type of like drones in this land? I don't know. I don't know what you do with a villain's land. I know I'm excited for it. I just don't know what you do.
I know that for me, I'm back to the comparisons of Epic Universe versus Disney World. I'm most excited for Dark Universe because of the monsters, but also, again, bringing it back to the visual element, the kinetic energy. You can physically see that rotating coaster when you're in. You can even see it in the concept art, and it just makes it look like a really awesome, fun theme park. It's immersive, but you can tell it's a theme park that you're going to have a good time at. When I look at the concept art for Villains Land, it looks like a really badass Fortnite level, right? Like, it looks like it's got the cool mountains. It's got what you want it, but I don't see rides, and I don't see where to go. And I think it just looks like another Galaxy's Edge, but done for villains.
One is much farther along than the other. Like Ben said, this is a response to the other one, more than likely. So, and the other thing is, none of us are Florida-based guys. I've been there once. I know Ben hasn't been there. Jeremy, have you been there?
Last time I was there was 2002.
Okay, so, it's like, I'm pretty sure Magic Kingdom does have space back there. Yeah. So I don't want to judge this too harshly till we get more. But I do see what you're saying. The pictures do look lame at this time, but
it looks like a cool place to hang out. But I want to see rides. I want to see thrills. Like, visually, I'm talking about, like, even when I just walk into it, I want something that catches my eyes so that I look up, as opposed to having to look down at my phone for scheduling things, or down at my phone to interact with something. I want to look up and see something that makes me go, I want to ride that right now. Like, even Guardians of the Galaxy, California Adventure, when the doors open up, you still see the cars and you hear the screams. And that's the brilliant part about that, is it's an enclosed ride that has a moment that opens up where now you can hear people.
I mean, we're talking about Disney Tokyo Seas, where Journey to the Center of the Earth has that one drop that goes outside. And
yes,
and Tokyo Seas is considered the best Disney park in the world by most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back to Tiana's now, even with Splash Mountain before, you have the drop, and you see the drop, and you hear the screams, and it makes you want to go there, right? But if everything is constantly enclosed and away, then it doesn't matter to me what the concept art looks like, and it doesn't matter to me how much time they put into the walls. I mean, Thunder Mountain, they put all the time into the walls, even Matterhorn, but the ride goes in and out, and you're constantly seeing it, and it just amps up your excitement level.
Maybe, and just call me crazy, maybe. I remember... We were a little bit too old for this, but I remember the show House of Mouse. Do you guys remember that show? Know that show?
Yeah, it was a fun little...
I knew you would. Jeremy, do you know what that is?
I remember it vaguely.
Okay. So there was a Halloween episode where they turned to House of Villains. So I could see maybe a tie in there where they have the villains take over their part of the Magic Kingdom, and maybe we have the Wicked Witch from Snow White, the old hag, whatever she is, right? And she's
the queen.
Is that the queen? Oh yeah, the queen. Whatever.
She's still the queen, yeah.
But like maybe we get something like that. I really don't know what they're going to do here. I know that it's going to be a money grab. I know it's going to be exclusive merch. I just think that if this is one of those things where it's go big or go home for them, because it's such a thing that's been in demand for years, that if they don't do something big, I think it's going to have a lot of letdown. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. There is no opening date for that whatsoever. Like many of these announcements, years down the line, like I said, we will be in our kids will probably be graduating high school, going into college when half the stuff opens, being realistic. And it'll give us an opportunity to go there and experience with them. We already touched on Tomorrowland. I wanted to go over the last section of this episode to kind of go over misses. And I know that we're not talking about any of the entertainment aspects of D23. Jordan is planning an episode all about that, actually, and talking about the upcoming releases. And Jeremy's going to chime in there too.
Oh, we're not touching on that today? Darn it.
But don't fret too much. These two guys are wealths of knowledge when it comes to cinema and film. They both have very strong opinions on everything.
Because I brought one thing down, I just want to make sure I put it here.
Yeah, we're not.
I don't know if you guys.
We're not talking about Skeleton Crew, and we're not talking about Captain EO right now.
I think we just gotta quickly just say it really quick. They're bringing Captain EO back to the Disney universe, okay?
But they're making it like a PG version, so we're all good. We're going to erase the past so that we can bring him back. Okay, misses. Are there any big misses other than Tomorrowland for Jeremy and myself? Any big misses? Anything you wanted to hear that wasn't there?
Tomorrowland was really the thing for me. Even just bring back the People Mover. Even just like make that announcement, because it's still a Disney World and it's still a popular attraction. It gives you something to look at, gives you something to do, gives you something to come sit and have like a calm, nice journey around Tomorrowland. I just bring that back. Everyone talks about it all the time. You can go on all the social media pages. Just please give us back the People Mover. That's my one thing.
So what Jeremy's trying to tell you is in the comments, please start a change.org petition to bring back the People Mover. Because
there's so many already. We just need to get them restarted.
Post all the pre-existing ones in the comments, and then let's go through and sign them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan, any big misses for you when it comes to theme parks?
I mean, I think they're doing what they can do, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to be the negative one here, but I don't think I don't want to, the train's already going down.
Again, we're critical because we care, guys. It's not like we're being negative. Look, we're critical because we care. And don't at me in the comments. I'm well aware that we didn't touch on any of the cruise lines. I don't care about the cruise lines.
That's in the other episode. I'm down to talk about.
Let's do it. I went on my first one in March, and it was a blast. And I would love to talk about it.
Pin in that one. All right. Okay. My biggest miss, my one I guess for me, the lack of entertainment announcements when it comes to the parks, domestic parks specifically. I'm a little disappointed in that. I think that Disneyland is long overdue for we talked about Remember Dreams Come True earlier. I think it's overdue for a really big fireworks show like that against that caliber. I don't want to see the Pixar show that just happened. Half the things didn't work half the time. It was kind of a lackluster show, in my opinion. Give me a show that brings the park to life around me, that makes me immersed in that park again, gives me hope for the future of the park. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. Other than that,
those are gonna happen. They're not big enough announcements for D23 anymore.
I actually really wish they would have announced their first integration for drones with the domestic theme parks. I think watching what Paris is doing with their version of with their like electric parade at night is super cool. It's super creative.
Yeah,
I think, and maybe there's like regulations for us in California in terms of like flight paths. It very well could be.
Dodger Stadium just did it. They're doing it all the time.
Oh, we'll see what happens. I think those are my only misses. Okay. Bear with us, folks. We know this was it's our first episode, right? So we will be a little bit less choppy next time. Just to kind of go over what we're going to be looking at for the future on the next episodes coming up. Like I mentioned, we'll be doing a D23 deep dive on the entertainment aspect, the films, the TV shows that are coming out. Jordan's super excited. Jeremy's super excited. We're going to start talking about Halloween time because that is here, whether we like it or not. I know it's only August, and we're going to start talking about Halloween time. It's kind of crazy to me. We've got 2 new characters coming to Oogie Boogie Bash that have been teased. We're going to pin that one up for the next time as well. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Subscribe, like. If you're not part of the Facebook group, join us. We'd love to have you. And from all of us here, we thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.